From darkness to light, a reflection on existence, creation, and the hereafter. Throughout history, humanity has gazed upon the vastness of the sky, marveled at the mysteries of the universe, and pondered the purpose of existence. What if our current reality is nothing more than a shadow, a fleeting glimpse of something far greater? A paradise of unimaginable light that awaits just beyond the veil of this world. To understand this, consider the profound analogy of living in what can be called the paradise of darkness. God's mercy, when compared to human mercy, is like comparing an infinite ocean to a single drop of water. When human beings design prisons, they craft walls of stone, iron bars, and concrete, a harsh and unyielding reminder of confinement. Those who dwell within these walls are restricted in movement, stripped of beauty, and surrounded by cold metal and rock. Human mercy is limited by its very nature. But when God designs a place of testing and trial, a temporary confinement for the believer, He paints it with luxury and grace. Instead of stone and iron, He gives us mountains that touch the sky, valleys that whisper with rivers, and gardens that bloom with life. Instead of iron bars, He provides open skies, shimmering lakes, and vast oceans. Instead of cells, He grants us homes and mansions, places of rest and comfort. Even the sky itself is more than a canopy of stars. It is a window to freedom. Much like a prisoner might gaze through a small window and long for the open world beyond, the sky serves as a glimpse into the grand universe that lies just beyond our reach. Its beauty, its vastness, are whispers of a reality yet to be unveiled. A sign that this temporary state is not eternal, that the window will one day be thrown open, and we will step into that greater reality. In human prisons, the standard is harsh limitation. One pair of shoes, a single set of clothing, a concrete room with iron bars. In God's temporary prison, we are gifted entire malls, markets, wardrobes brimming with clothes of every color and texture. We are given the freedom to walk through valleys, swim in rivers, and gaze upon sunsets that paint the skies with fire. Even in this place of trial, God's mercy is evident in every leaf, every stream, every breath of fresh air. There are no shackles, no chains, only the illusion of confinement, while His mercy flows abundantly. This is the mercy of God, even towards those who reject Him, providing beauty, freedom, and comfort even in a place meant as a test. Even those who rebel against Him, those who consider themselves enemies to His way, are not shackled and chained in this world. They roam free, enjoying the abundance of God's creation. But this very tendency towards gold and adornment symbolizes a deeper truth. In their supposed paradise, they seek glittering jewels, unaware that in the hereafter those very elements will transform. In hell, the objects of their desire manifest as chains and collars of iron, a reflection of their inclinations turned against them. The sky itself is a window to the free world, a reminder that beyond the veil of this existence lies something greater, more beautiful and eternal. Much like a prisoner gazes through iron bars and dreams of freedom, we look up at the stars and dream of a place where light is unending, where beauty is eternal, and where the limitations of this world fall away like shadows before the dawn. Imagine for a moment that human beings had the power to create entire worlds, vast landscapes and intricate cities, filled with life, consciousness, and beauty. Within these worlds, characters would roam with the illusion of free will, unaware of the architects of their reality. Would they not wonder? Would they not seek the source of their existence? In the same way, our universe, with its complexity, fine-tuning, and intricate laws, reflects the necessity of a creator. Just as a simulation demands a programmer, our reality demands a designer. The universe, with its 7 heavens stretching across the cosmos, mirrors the structure of the Earth. Just as the Earth has 7 continents filled with nations, cities, and states, the 7 heavens are inhabited with stars, planets, and galaxies, each perfectly placed, each serving its purpose in the grand design. The Earth serves as a microcosm of this grand structure, demonstrating the harmony and order that extends from the smallest grain of sand to the largest expanse of space. The Earth is a garden, vibrant and full of life, reflecting the grander reality that the universe itself is a garden, a masterpiece designed by God. Just as God sends water from the sky to revive His garden of earth, it is said that water flows from beneath His throne to nourish the gardens of the universe. When the sunlight touches the earth, life springs forth from darkness into light. In the same manner, when the water beneath his throne is poured forth, his unveiled light will illuminate the entire universe, reviving it with beauty and life, just as he does with the earth after it dies. A beautiful correlation also exists between Adam, the first human being, and the Prophet Muhammad. Adam represents the pinnacle of human physical perfection, strength, beauty, and stature, while the Prophet Muhammad represents the peak of spiritual perfection, love, and devotion to God. It is said that in the hereafter, these two aspects of human perfection will be merged into one complete creation. Humanity will be elevated to a state where physical and spiritual perfection coexist in harmony. In that eternal state, humans will stand 90 feet tall, reflecting the original creation of Adam, and possess incredible abilities: teleportation, flight, the speed of light, telekinesis, and mastery over creation itself. Just as comic book authors imagine characters with superhuman abilities, we are characters in God's book of creation. If human authors can imagine such power, then surely the creator of the heavens and the earth can bestow these gifts upon his creation. This is the destiny of human beings in the next life, perfected in both form and spirit, prepared to behold the unveiled light of the Creator and navigate his grand garden of the universe with limitless ability and eternal fulfillment. In our present life, we experience only a minuscule fraction of all possible light. Scientifically, it's known that about 99.997% of the light spectrum is invisible to the human eye. This means that what we perceive as brightness and illumination is in reality almost complete darkness. It's as though we are experiencing the world through a narrow keyhole, catching mere glimpses of the vast reality that exists beyond our limited senses. This analogy is much like trying to describe the vibrancy of color to someone born blind. No matter how much one attempts to explain, the true experience of color remains beyond comprehension without the ability to see. In this way, the light and beauty of the next life are hidden from us now, awaiting a grand unveiling when God removes the veil and brings us from the depths of darkness into light. The Path of Light, Moses, Sirat al-Mustaqim, and the Journey of Believers. The entire journey of Moses and the children of Israel is a grand metaphor written in the fabric of time, echoing through the lives of all believers. Egypt, with its towering monuments, wealth, and corruption, symbolizes the material world, the earth itself, shrouded in sin and disbelief. Pharaoh, with his iron grip over Egypt, represents Satan, the great deceiver who commands his armies of disbelief, spreading corruption and oppression upon the earth. His wealth and power are symbols of worldly temptation, the very distractions that lead people away from the path of light. Pharaoh's armies, adorned with the luxuries of Egypt, are the embodiment of disbelievers who revel in fleeting pleasures, oblivious to their fate. Just as Pharaoh sought to dominate and misguide, so too does Satan, leading masses astray from divine light and into darkness. When Moses, under divine command, struck the sea, it parted, not just as a physical miracle, but as a symbol of the eternal divide between faith and disbelief, light and darkness. The straight path that cut through the sea was the manifestation of God's divine guidance, light amidst the chaos and destruction that surrounded it. This path mirrors the straight path that believers ask for in every prayer, the Surat al-Mustaqim. It is the path of divine guidance in this life, the bridge over hell in the next, and the journey to salvation, just as Moses led his people to freedom through God's light. Moses, the symbol of prophethood, guided the children of Israel, who represent the believers, upon this path of salvation. The sea itself was the embodiment of darkness and destruction, symbolic of hell and divine retribution. Those who strayed from the path were engulfed by its depths, just as those who stray from divine guidance are swallowed by disbelief and destruction. The crossing of the sea symbolizes the believer's journey out of the depths of darkness, out of Egypt, symbolic of this worldly life, into the light of salvation. When Pharaoh and his armies were destroyed, it was symbolic of God's judgment upon disbelief and oppression, just as the children of Israel reclaimed the wealth and fineries of Egypt after Pharaoh's fall. This is mirrored in the hereafter, when the believers inherit the purified earth, cleansed of disbelief and corruption, and filled with divine light. Pharaoh stood as the embodiment of arrogance and worldly desire, his throne a fortress of decadence that glittered with the wealth of 1,000 nations. He was more than a mere ruler. He was the living representation of man's submission to temptation and pride. His wealth was the armor that shielded him from humility, and his armies, clad in gold and armed with the might of empire, marched with the confidence of those who believed their paradise was eternal. Yet their paradise was but a mirage, a flicker of light before the dawn of destruction, like the glimmer of stars swallowed by the vastness of the night. The Promised Land was not merely a physical destination. It was the manifestation of God's mercy upon the faithful, a glimpse of the eternal gardens that await those who walk the straight path. The signs sent to Pharaoh, the blood, the frogs, the locusts, were not just plagues. They were manifestations of light, attempting to pierce the veil of darkness. Each sign was a ripple of divine mercy, a chance for repentance and reflection. Pharaoh's rejection of these signs was not merely disbelief, it was the choice to remain in shadow, to embrace the material and forsake the eternal. This pattern of rejecting divine light is echoed through history. Thamud, Hud, Sodom, and Gomorrah, all given the chance to step into the light, all choosing instead the comfort of darkness. Their cities crumbled not merely because of their sins, but because they severed themselves from the divine light that sustains all existence. Divine retribution is not arbitrary. It is the natural consequence of embracing darkness. God's signs are extensions of mercy, yet for those who shun them, destruction follows. Just as the sea swallowed Pharaoh, the earth will one day be cleansed, stones from the heavens purging corruption and making way for renewal. The rains that nourish the earth can also become torrents that cleanse it. Hailstones, or stones from the sky, like those that destroyed past nations, symbolize the purging of corruption and the renewal of the earth for the believers, just as spring follows the storms of winter. In this life, the sun, moon, and stars serve as mere placeholders for God's enemies to find light in a world veiled from his divine presence. God, who is the light of the heavens and the earth, created human beings with the sole purpose to worship him, the source of all light and existence. The soul's innate nature, its fitra, is inclined towards the uncreated divine light of God. Yet, his enemies, who rejected his guidance and strayed from the light, were given placeholders, the sun, the moon, and the stars. It is by divine decree that those who dwell in darkness would turn their worship towards these lights of creation, rather than the creator of light itself. This is why across history, many have worshipped the sun, moon, and stars, reaching towards symbols of light, yet missing the eternal source of it. Their souls, yearning for light, grasped at the reflections instead of the origin. But in the next life, when the heavens and the earth are recreated in perfection and purity, there will be no need for the sun, the moon, or the stars. God will reclaim his rightful place in the sky and across the universe, his divine light illuminating the heavens and the earth without setting. The universe itself, cold and dark, mirrors the veiling of God's uncreated light. Just as the earth shivers in the absence of the sun's warmth, the universe lies at negative 454 degrees, a testament to the divine veil that covers his uncreated light and his heat. But when God unveils his uncreated light, the universe will awaken, much like the earth blooms with life and warmth when the sun rises. His light will stretch across the cosmos, turning barren planets into gardens, and the cold void into realms of life and beauty, for the universe is his ultimate garden, awaiting the dawn of his unveiled light. God will reclaim his rightful place in the sky and across the universe, his divine light illuminating the heavens and the earth without setting. This truth is echoed in the story of Abraham when he looked to the stars and said, "This is my Lord," then saw them set and knew it could not be. He turned his gaze to the moon, shining bright, and said, "This is my Lord," but it too vanished into the dawn. Finally, he looked upon the sun, mighty and blazing, and declared, "This is my Lord," but as it dipped beyond the horizon, he rejected it. Abraham's fitra, his innate nature, recognized that his true Lord does not set, does not fade, and is not veiled by the turning of the skies. His soul remembered the light of paradise, the eternal presence of God's uncreated light that never dims. In the next life, when he looks up to where the sun once hung, he will behold his Lord. Where the stars once dotted the sky, he will see God's light stretching across the heavens, and where the moon once shone, he will witness the eternal glow of his Creator. His rejection of the sun, moon, and stars in this life was a testament to his soul's yearning for the eternal light of God that never sets, never fades, and never disappears. A light that will fill the recreated earth and heavens in endless brilliance. On the day of resurrection, God's light will be a mile above mankind's head, illuminating creation with unfiltered purity. God will be established upon his throne, his uncreated light serving as the purifier of sins. Just as in this life, when believers stand before him in prayer, his light washes away their transgressions. The symbolism of the sun's light upon the earth is but a whisper of what is to come. The veil will be lifted, and his light will shine across all existence, reviving the universe in a way no eye has seen nor mind has imagined. We dwell now in the paradise of God's enemies, where defiance and rebellion flourish against his commands. If God commands justice, truth, and mercy, then his enemies, who dwell in their own version of paradise upon this earth, will inevitably do the opposite. Corruption, greed, and oppression are not evidence of God's absence, but of rebellion against his light. If God commands against greed and oppression and mankind chooses it, the suffering that follows is the natural result of disobedience, a reflection of living in the shadow of defiance. Yet, the straight path is not merely a bridge of the hereafter, it is the very path we tread every single day in this life. Every day that we exist in this world is a step upon that bridge over hell. In the next life, the bridge is stretched thin over hell's abyss, a place of darkness and suffering. But reflect upon this world. The universe itself is shrouded in darkness, lifeless and barren, with only distant stars illuminating its vastness. We live now in the paradise of God's enemies, a paradise of disbelief, corruption, and sin. For the believer, this is a shadow of hell, a place of darkness where light is scarce. The stars above are like scattered embers, mere flickers of light in the sea of darkness, mirroring the believer's struggle in the world of disbelief. Just as the bridge in the hereafter is crossed by light and falls by darkness, so too is this life navigated by the light of the Quran, the messengers, and God's guidance. They are our stars in the darkness, the light that keeps us steady upon the path. This is why God commands believers to hold firmly to Scripture, to cling to faith, and to embrace the light of guidance. Because it is only through this light that one may navigate the paradise of disbelief, the believer's hell in this life. In the hereafter, the disbelievers will find themselves in utter darkness, the light replaced by the fires of torment. But the believers who walked through the darkness of this life by the light of God's mercy will cross safely, their light perfected, leading them into the eternal gardens of light. The journey of Moses is a living parable, a bridge between this life and the next, a testament to the path of light. When Moses parted the sea by God's command, it was not only a physical miracle, but a living symbol of the straight path. That path, stretching between walls of water, was light amidst darkness, safety amidst destruction, just as the bridge over hell will be in the next life. For Moses and the children of Israel, the sea stood as the shadow of hell itself, chaos, darkness, and destruction waiting to engulf those who strayed from the path of divine guidance. Moses, the messenger of his time, was the leader and guide across that path, just as the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the guide for believers now. In the next life, the prophets will lead their followers across the bridge of light, just as they led their communities through the trials of this world. Moses symbolizes that divine leadership, just as every messenger symbolizes the straight path that must be followed to cross the darkness of disbelief. The water that surged back upon Pharaoh and his army was more than mere waves. It was the physical embodiment of divine wrath, a punishment that reflects the engulfing darkness of hell. Just as those who stray from the straight path in this life are swallowed by disbelief, the disbelievers will be swallowed by darkness and fire in the hereafter. The parted sea was the believer's bridge of light, and the path through it was the straight path stretched across the abyss. Likewise, every step we take upon the straight path in this life is mirrored upon the bridge of the hereafter, where light is the only means of crossing safely. The light that we are commanded to follow, faith, the Quran, the messengers, God's guidance and the angels, is the very light that illuminates the bridge. In this life, we walk through the paradise of disbelief, the believer's trial in the world of darkness. The universe itself is the shadow of hell, and the stars are the scattered lights that reflect the guidance we are to follow. Every prayer, every act of faith, every step upon the straight path is a step upon the bridge that spans the fires of hell in the next life. It is a preparation, a rehearsal for that crossing, where only light prevails and darkness consumes. To stray from it now is to stray from it then. To hold firm now is to be firm then. Just as Moses led his people upon the parted sea to salvation, so too will the prophets lead their followers across the bridge of light, beyond the fires of hell, and into the eternal gardens of light. The longing for eternal light. This earth we tread is but a shadowed reflection, a realm tainted with whispers of decay, where every breath draws us nearer to the grave. Invisible forces, viruses, disease, and time quietly wage war upon our fragile forms. This world is a crucible of sorrow, a paradise for those distant from their Creator, but a trial of purification for His beloved. We wander amidst remnants of paradise, haunted by its memory, yet suffocating in its corruption. But oh, the promise of what is to come! How it stirs the soul, how it makes the heart ache with longing. For when the earth is reborn, purified and washed in the uncreated light of its Lord, all that once harmed will be transformed. The very air will shimmer with life, each breath an elixir of renewal, restoring our eternal forms with every inhalation. The winds will carry the scent of divine mercy, sweeping away every trace of sorrow, filling the soul with indescribable peace. The soil will be pure and untainted, sprouting gardens of eternal bloom, fruits that never rot, flowers that never fade, trees that whisper praises to their Creator. In that sacred sanctuary, the believers will walk upon carpets of light, soft and radiant beneath their feet. Rivers of crystal-clear bliss will flow beside them, reflecting the splendor of their Lord's face, a sight that will make the heart tremble with joy. Every breath will be like the first taste of paradise, filling the soul with a sweetness no tongue can describe, a pleasure eclipsing all the fleeting joys of this world. It will be as if life itself pours into their lungs, rejuvenating, beautifying, perfecting, without end. Oh, how the heart weeps for that day, to be washed in His mercy, to stand in the glow of His uncreated light, to feel His acceptance like gentle rain upon parched and yearning hearts. It is the longing of 1,000 lifetimes, to be seen, to be known, to be held in the embrace of divine love, never to be cast away. What is this life but a fleeting breath in the shadow of His mercy? What is this world but a dim reflection of the beauty that awaits those who endure? And then the veil is lifted, the horizon blazes with light unfiltered, a brilliance that eyes once veiled in sorrow can now behold without pain or fear. The light is pure, untouched by shadow, stretching endlessly across a landscape of eternity. There, standing in awe and trembling joy, the believers behold the face of their Lord, radiance beyond all earthly comprehension, a light that fills the soul with a love so deep, the heart feels as though it may burst from joy. It is a gaze that speaks of every mercy, of every hidden kindness, of every tear counted and every sorrow known. Time itself bows in submission, for in that moment eternity is unveiled. One glance and every trial melts away, every pain is forgotten, every grief is turned to joy. 1,000 years of struggle become a fleeting breath, compared to the eternal bliss of that gaze. Their faces shine with a light reflected, hearts swelling with gratitude and love, for the one who created them, who guided them, who brought them through the crucible of this world to a sanctuary of eternal peace. And there, in the shelter of His mercy, they will never taste sorrow, never know fear, never be cast away from His light. The rivers will flow with sweetness, the gardens will sing with life, and the believers will dwell in joy that never fades, in light that never dims, forever and ever, beneath the gaze of their Lord.